Hi, and welcome to day 16. We're starting our big project this week, which is our lab item review project, as you can see from the title of the folder. So I've also linked, in case you forgot where it was, in the week 5 folder, I've also linked the virtual lab room so that you have access to that still, and you can play with those toys. So for the project, if I go ahead and read the instructions today, the video will be here. I will read the rubric and introduce the project in class. You will then take the I read the rubric check quiz, and you will begin to work on your project. Remember to adhere to the rubric instructions for your project. And then there's attendance for the day. So back out to the folder. Okay, I'm going to go to the project guidelines, example, and rubric. Number 2. Remember, anytime something is linked in Google, you can click on that little square to open it up in a separate page so that you can see it larger. You can also use the zoom in function so that you can see it up close, because you want to be able to read these instructions. Okay, so the virtual STEAM lab item review, here are the instructions for creating this Google Slides project. It's going to be a minimum of 4 slides. You're going to place on the first slide, which is the title page, the title of the project, your name, and class period. So to see an example of what that looks like, I'll show you the example, virtual STEAM lab item review project, my name, my class period, and mine happens to be period 1. You would put whatever your name and class period are. Okay. The next thing on the instructions, going back to them, is slide 2, 3, and 4. These will all be identical in theory, just different items. So you're going to pick your first item from the STEAM room. So I'm going to pick one of the toys in the STEAM room. I'm going to pick this keyboard, which takes me to the Chrome Song Maker. Okay? If I hover over the item, it can tell me Chrome Music Lab Maker. Instructions, the first thing I need to do is get a picture of the item on the card. Couple ways that I can do that. I can take a picture from the STEAM room by using my camera feature and taking a partial shot. That's not always the best idea because it's small. So I could go on the internet in Chrome Music Maker and get a picture of it that way. Okay, or a keyboard, something like that that represents that item. Or I can go into the item itself, play around with it, and take a screenshot of the item itself after I played with it. And that's what I did in my example. I played with the Music Maker, and I took a screenshot of it and put it on the card. I then put the name of the item on the card underneath next to the word item. So this is your template. I deleted the dog photo. I put my own photo, and I put the name of the item on the card next to the word item. So that's how I set up my card. I got the dog image, and I put my image here by copying it and pasting it. And I could tilt it if I needed to fit the card. If I need the slide, I can hit Control-Z to undo what I've done, okay? And go back to how it looked before. The next thing I need to do according to the instructions, once I have a picture, is make a review. So if you ever have looked at a movie review or a restaurant review, you have read starred reviews in Amazon or about a movie or a game you might play. We're writing reviews about a project, about the items in the lab. So you're going to write 5 sentences that are descriptive as if somebody had never used that site before, to tell them all about the features of that site. So if we read an example, on the site you could make your own songs. There were different instruments you could choose from. There was a mic so that you could record your own singing. There was also settings like beats per bar and length you could alter. You can also save your work and send it to a friend. This was an awesome site. 5 stars. Okay. I do not want to take up 5 sentences saying I liked it, this was great, or this was boring. I didn't really like things on this site. I do want to make sure I'm describing what goes on the site. I may have one sentence that says, overall, this was great, or overall, I didn't like this site, but most of the description is actually me telling you what you can do there and the features. Super important to get those points. Okay. Next instruction is that I give it stars. So to create the stars on the card, I go down here to the card. I open up my shapes tool, call outs, and a star tool. Oop, I chose the wrong shape. Call outs, a 5-pointed star. I make one star in the size I want, and then I can Control C, Control V 4 times, or 5 stars. So 4 copies of that original star, so that they're all the same shape and the same size. And I want them to be able to fit down at the bottom of my cards, so I need to make them not huge because I don't want them hanging off. This one's not needed anymore, so I have 5. Okay, and I try and get them as neat in a row as I want. Okay, and then I'm going to pour in the color of them to fill them. And I fill as many as I want to give the review. So here I gave it 5 stars on this one example, and here I gave it 4 stars. So that's how you do that part. The next page is looking at where all the points come from, so you can read over that. And finally, take the quiz saying we read the rubric. So make sure you go through the rubric, make sure you read over that. You also have an access to the example that I gave you at the bottom of this slide. And finally, you're going to need the attendance for day 16. So I'm going to click on attendance for day 16 and put it up there. And there it is, SD nails for day 16. Have a great day and get started on your projects. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or chat with me.